Hello, sports fans. It is Tuesday, December the 10th, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. As the snow falls here in New York City, I'll tell you, it has snowed all over the country in the last couple of days, so if you're in a spot where it's snowing or you have inclement weather, please drive carefully. We are going to do Week 15 in the NFL picks in a couple minutes, then I want to touch on the bowl matchups with you. Let's quickly go over the Monday Night Football game last night where the Chicago Bears at home plastered the Dallas Cowboys 45-28. Bears up to 7-6. Very important win for Chicago. Remember, they're battling Detroit and Green Bay for that division. Big win for the Bears. Dallas down to 7-6. Horrendous loss for Dallas. Remember, Philadelphia now jumps them for the division. Dallas in real danger, not even making the playoffs. I'll tell you, the Bear offense is really good. Even with Cutler out, they can move the ball, they can score. McCown played really well. Forte was good last night. They have the two good wideouts, Marshall and Jeffrey. Really, really good offense for Chicago. They used to be a defensive team. Now they're an offensive team. They're all beat up on defense, but they can move the ball. They just plastered Dallas last night. All sorts of problems for the Cowboys. They have too many defensive liabilities. They have been all banged up on defense. Even the guys that are playing hurt. Dallas is in real trouble. They can't stop anyone. I mean, Chicago scored on their first 6 possessions. Danger time for Dallas. I mean, I don't like what I see at all from that defense, so we'll keep an eye on them. It was a total blowout last night. I mean, the Bears were in control of this game pretty much the whole way. Good to see Mike Ditka back at Soldier Field. They retired Mike Ditka's number at halftime. Fans gave him a great ovation. Good to see Mike Ditka back at Soldier Field. So that was your Monday night game last night. Let's get to Week 15 of the NFL picks as we come down the home stretch in the NFL. Only 3 weeks to go. Let's start with the Thursday game where the Denver Broncos at home are minus 10.5 against the San Diego Chargers. Welker has been ruled out of this game for Denver. He has a concussion. Remember, Denver is fighting with New England for that the top spot in the AFC. Remember, San Diego's only a game out of the playoffs, believe it or not. I was going to take Denver. I was going to play it safe. Then Welker was ruled out. I am going to reluctantly, and I know I'm going to pay for this, I am going to reluctantly take San Diego with the 10.5. It's a huge game for the Chargers. The Chargers looked really good last week. Now I know you never know what you're getting from San Diego. They can lay a complete egg here. Always dangerous going against Denver, especially in Denver. Denver could put up 50 on anybody. I was going to take Denver, but then Welker's injury kind of swayed me to San Diego. Do I think San Diego can win? Probably not, but I mean, maybe they can hang in there. It's 10.5 points. I will take a shot. I'll take the Chargers plus 10.5 in Denver on Thursday night. Let's go to the Sunday games. Let's go down to Atlanta, where the Atlanta Falcons are minus 4.5 against the Washington Redskins. Looks like RG3 will sit the rest of the year. I think Shanahan's going to be fired. How in the world could you like Washington here after the beating they took to Kansas City last week in their own building? I know Atlanta's having a miserable year. They should be able to handle this bad Redskin team. I'll take the Falcons minus 4.5 against Washington down in Atlanta. Let's go down to Tampa Bay where the San Francisco 49ers are minus 5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, Tampa Bay has some talent. They're probably not as bad as their record. They always play hard. They looked good last week. The Niners are in a different class, though. The Niners are a solid team. Just beat Seattle. Niners really need this game. Remember, Arizona is nipping on the Niners' heels for that last playoff spot. I think the Niners go into Tampa. The defense shuts down the Buccaneers. Niners take care of business. They beat Tampa, so I will take San Francisco minus 5 down in Tampa. Let's go down to Nashville, Tennessee, where the Arizona Cardinals are minus 3 against the Tennessee Titans. Arizona a game behind San Francisco for that last playoff spot in the NFC. Arizona has a really nice defense. They are 8-5 this year. They're playing really well. I don't love taking Arizona on the road, but I am going to take them here. I have been impressed with Arizona. Tennessee got walloped in Denver last week. Tennessee's defense has given up a lot of points. Plus, they're playing with the backup quarterback, Fitzpatrick, who I don't love. I will take Arizona minus 3 down in Nashville. Let's go to St. Louis, where the New Orleans Saints are minus 5.5 against the St. Louis Rams. Saints, of course, coming off that huge win against Carolina, where they just buried the Panthers. Rams have not looked good at all in the last few weeks. You have to take the Saints here. I know the Saints are not the same team outside of the Superdome. They should have more than enough firepower to beat the Rams. The Rams have looked awful in the last few weeks. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not far from here, where the Seattle Seahawks are -7 over the New York Giants. Hey, I like Seattle here in this game. Seattle's coming off a tough loss to San Francisco. The Giants laid an egg out in San Diego. The Giants have been eliminated from the playoffs. I think Seattle bounces back in a big way and steamrolls the New York Giants. I like Seattle -7 against the Giants in the Meadowlands. Seattle could be back in this stadium in early February. Remember, the Super Bowl is in New York this year, so Seattle could be making a return trip here in February. Let's go to Cleveland. The dog pound where the Cleveland Browns are -2.5 against the Chicago Bears. This spread could change because of how good the Bears looked last night. So I don't know what the official spread's going to be. I'm going to take the Bears right now. I mean, I was very impressed with the way they played last night. They're right there for the division lead. Cleveland, they do have a better chance of winning with Campbell at quarterback than Whedon. Whedon is absolutely awful. The Browns should have beaten New England, but I still don't trust the Browns right now, so I'm going to take Chicago +2.5 in Cleveland. Let's go to Indianapolis, where the Indianapolis Colts are -6 against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans have lost 11 in a row. Do you really think I'm going to take them? I actually think the spread is pretty low. I mean, all year the Texans have been getting very favorable spreads. They've been favored in a lot of games. I mean, I don't get it. They've lost 11 in a row. This is not last year's Houston team. This is a bad Houston team that can't even beat Jacksonville. I think Indianapolis buries Houston here in Indy. I'll take Indianapolis to win this game by at least 14 points. I'll take the Colts -6 against the awful Texans. Let's go down to Jacksonville, where the Buffalo Bills are -1.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why is Buffalo favored on the road against anyone? Have you watched Buffalo the last couple of weeks? Did you just watch them last week in Tampa Bay? They were awful. Jacksonville has actually been playing decent football. I'll take Jacksonville with the 1.5, and I think Jacksonville's going to win this game. What makes Buffalo a 1.5 favorite on the road against anyone? Come on, Jacksonville's going to win this game. Let's go down to Miami, where the New England Patriots are -2.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Very, very tough game. Patriots are decimated with injuries. No Gronkowski, beat up on defense. Miami right there for the AFC playoffs. I mean, they're battling with Baltimore. Very tough game. I hate going against New England, but I'm going to have to here. I'm going to take Miami at home. I don't like New England's defense. They're too beat up. Now Gronkowski's out. New England was lucky to beat Cleveland at home last week. I'll take the Dolphins +2.5 at home against the Patriots. Let's go to Minnesota, where the Philadelphia Eagles are -4 against the Minnesota Vikings. Eagles are now in first place. Foles playing tremendous. The Eagle defense has improved. I got to give Kelly, the coach, a lot of credit. I was all over the Eagles in the beginning of the season. They have really turned it around, playing some nice football. Had the big come-from-behind win against Detroit last week. I got to take the Eagles here. You know Minnesota. They always find ways to lose. They had found a million ways to lose against Baltimore. I'm sure they'll find a million ways to lose against Philadelphia this week. I'll take Philadelphia -4 against Minnesota in the Metrodome. By the way, a lot of home teams are underdog this week, and that's always dangerous. When you pick against these home teams giving up points, that's always dangerous. I think last week just about every home team won outright. So I'm picking a lot of road teams here. That's always dangerous. But anyway, what can you do? You like who you like. Anyway, let's go to Carolina, where the Carolina Panthers are -12 against the New York Jets. Have to take Carolina here. I know the Jets won last week. I know the Jets are only a game out of a playoff spot. Come on. They're not as good as Carolina. That Carolina defense is going to smother the Jets. They're going to smother Geno Smith. I don't know if the Jets can score in this game. Carolina is going to be angry. They just got bombarded by the Saints. Carolina could shut out the Jets down in Carolina. I like Carolina to bury the Jets down in Carolina. Carolina -12. Let's go out to Oakland, where the Kansas City Chiefs are -3 against the Oakland Raiders. Why is this spread only 3? Have you watched the Raiders the last few weeks? The Raiders lost by 10 to the Jets. They gave up 37 points to the Jets, who couldn't score 37 points in 6 weeks. The Chiefs bombarded Washington last week. I know it's a big rivalry. I know the game's in Oakland. I have to take the Chiefs here. You can't take Oakland. Oakland's defense is awful. They can't stop anyone. I'll take the Chiefs -3 against the Raiders out in Oakland. Let's go to Pittsburgh. I believe this is the Sunday night game where the Cincinnati Bengals are -3 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are done. They're finished. They could have stayed in the race last week. They lost at home to the Dolphins. They are finished, gone. They're going to have to redo the whole defense. Major changes coming from Pittsburgh. Cincinnati is having a solid year. Their defense is very good. I like the Bengals here. Pittsburgh's season is over. The Bengals, they have a lot to play for here. I think the Bengals roll in this game. I think the Bengals defense shuts down the Steelers. I like the Bengals to score a lot of points in this game. I think Cincinnati lays it on Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. I'll take Cincinnati -3 against the dead and buried Steelers. Let's go to Detroit. I believe this is the Monday night game where the Detroit Lions are -6.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Very big game for both teams. I mean, very, very important game. Baltimore hanging on to that last playoff spot in the AFC. Detroit, of course, leading their division, but not by a lot. They only hold a tiebreaker over Chicago. They're only a half a game ahead of Green Bay. You know Detroit, they're another one of these teams that's always fumbling and bumbling and stumbling. I think this game is going to be close. If you ask me who was going to win, I say Detroit ekes it out, but I'll take Baltimore with the 6.5 points. Detroit never blows anyone out. They make a million mistakes. Do I think Baltimore's good enough to win on the road here? Probably not, but I think they can cover the 6.5. I'll take the Ravens plus 6.5 at Detroit. And finally, Green Bay at Dallas. This game is off the board. We don't know about Rodgers. I am going to assume Rodgers does not play, so I've been consistent with Green Bay. I keep picking against them. I keep covering the spread because without Rodgers, Green Bay can't do much. They did win last week against a bad Atlanta team. That was an important win. Even with Dallas's defensive liabilities, I don't think Green Bay can go into Dallas without Rodgers and win. So I'm going to take the Cowboys at home to beat Green Bay if Rodgers does not play, and I don't expect him to play. So that is your Week 15 picks of the NFL as we are really coming down the home stretch of the NFL season. How quick does football go? All right, let's get to the college football. Only one game this week, Army-Navy in Philadelphia. Navy is -10 against Army. Listen, Navy has dominated this series in recent years. Until Army actually wins a game, I'm going to keep picking Navy. I've picked Navy the last 10 years. I've covered most of the games. I will take Navy -10 against Army. Army eventually will win a game against Navy. I don't think it's going to be this year, though. I'll take Navy -10 against Army in Philadelphia. Very nice game. A lot of pageantry in that game. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen that game before. And if you can get to that game, please go. That is a very nice game to watch in person. All right, real quickly, I want to touch on the bowl matchups for you. Now, me and Mr. Joe Spano from Sirius Satellite Radio, we're going to pick all the bowl games in a couple weeks, but I'm just going to touch on the matchups with you real quickly here. Not going to pick the games, just going to touch on them, and I'll tell you, I don't like most of the college bowl matchups, and this year is no exception. I don't like most of them. The national championship game is usually more hype than substance. Maybe next year when they go to the Final Four it will be better, but I usually don't love the bowl matchups. You have a couple decent games, but most of them I don't like at all. Let's go through the schedule real quick. Saturday, December 21st, you have the New Mexico Bowl, Washington State, Colorado State. You have the Las Vegas Bowl, Fresno State, and USC. I mean, it's okay. The Idaho Bowl, Buffalo and San Diego State. That's not great. The New Orleans Bowl, Tulane and Louisiana Lafayette. You got two locals at the Superdome. I'm sure the fan bases will be good, but that's unless you're in Louisiana, I don't know how the rest of the country feels about that game. Monday, December 23rd, the St. Petersburg Bowl, East Carolina and Ohio. That's not a good matchup. Tuesday, December the 24th, the Hawaii Bowl, Boise State, Oregon State. It's okay. I mean, is it a great game? No, it's an okay game. And remember, the Boise State coach has now left to go coach Washington. Thursday, December the 26th, the Little Caesars Bowl, Pitt and Bowling Green. That's a tough one. I mean, that's a tough one to watch. The Poinsettia Bowl, Utah State, Northern Illinois is another one that's a tough one to watch. Friday, December the 27th, the Military Bowl, Marshall and Maryland. Now listen, I don't want to rain on these two teams' parades. They both had decent years, but I mean, come on, is that must-watch football, Marshall and Maryland? The Texas Bowl, Syracuse and Minnesota. The Texas Bowl, I believe this game is played in Houston? Syracuse and Minnesota playing in Houston. Oh my goodness. The Fight Hunger Bowl, BYU and Washington. Okay, I guess. Saturday, December the 28th, the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. Notre Dame and Rutgers. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have a great crowd at Yankee Stadium with Notre Dame being there and local Rutgers, but I expect Notre Dame to just bomb Rutgers. The Belk Bowl, Cincinnati and North Carolina. The Russell Athletic Bowl, Miami and Louisville. Miami's decimated with injuries. Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, Michigan and Kansas State. Neither one of those teams was great this year. Monday, December the 30th, the Armed Forces Bowl, Middle Tennessee State and Navy. I mean, come on. Music City Bowl, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech. The Alamo Bowl, Oregon and Texas. I mean, I'm sure the Texas fans will be out in full force, but Texas has had a very disappointing year. They may fire Mac Brown, and how bad was Oregon this year? One of the most disappointing teams in all of college football. So the names look good, but those two teams have been very disappointing. The Holiday Bowl, Arizona State and Texas Tech. How many points are going to be scored in this game? 150? I mean, Texas Tech is going to give up 100 points in this game. Tuesday, December the 31st, the Advocare Bowl, Arizona, BC. That's a tough one. The Sun Bowl, Virginia Tech, UCLA. Ouch, Virginia Tech's not a good team. The Liberty Bowl, Rice and Mississippi State. Now, I know Rice has had a nice year, and Mississippi State did beat Ole Miss, and they have a good defense, but Rice, Mississippi State, that's a tough watch. The Chick-fil-A Bowl, which is usually a good bowl, Duke, Texas A&M, no defense there. I mean, that's another game you're going to have 150 points. Here's the January 1st games. Wednesday, January 1st, the Gator Bowl, Nebraska, Georgia. Georgia's decimated with injuries. Nebraska's had a disappointing season. You'll see a lot of red in the crowd. Both fan bases will come out. But, I mean, that game doesn't get me too excited. Of course, I'll be watching all these games. You know how I am. I'm a fanatic, so I'm going to watch them all anyway. But Nebraska, Georgia, Heart at Dallas Bowl, UNLV, North Texas. On New Year's Day, UNLV, North Texas. Ouch. The Capital One Bowl, Wisconsin, South Carolina. And I'm not a big fan of this Wisconsin team. Outback Bowl, Iowa, LSU. The LSU quarterback is out of this game with a torn ACL. That kind of ruins the game for me. The Rose Bowl, okay, here's a really good game. The Rose Bowl is always a good game. All the tradition, I mean, the setting. Stanford and Michigan State. This is a good, solid game. I like this game. Very interesting game. Could go either way. Stanford, Michigan State. That's a good game in the Rose Bowl. Fiesta Bowl, Central Florida and Baylor. I mean, once again, you got some good stories here with Central Florida and Baylor, but this is another one of these games. It's going to be like, 70 to 60. I mean, no one's going to stop anyone. You got points all over the place. I mean, I guess it's an okay game, but I don't love it for your Fiesta Bowl. And, of course, Thursday, January 2nd, the Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma, Alabama. I haven't been impressed with Oklahoma at all. I know they beat Oklahoma State, but do we really think if Alabama brings their A game, then Oklahoma's going to win this game? I mean, Oklahoma lost to Texas this year. I still haven't gotten over that. I don't love this Sugar Bowl. Friday, January 3rd, the Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma State, Missouri. Okay, that's a decent game, I guess. I mean, but both teams are coming off losses. Oklahoma State just lost to Oklahoma. Missouri just lost in the SEC championship game to Auburn. I guess you can say it's a decent game. I'm sure both fan bases will be well represented there in Dallas Cowboy Stadium. The Orange Bowl, Clemson and Ohio State. I mean, Clemson is a soft team. Can't beat South Carolina. Got blown out by Florida State. I remember a couple years ago, Clemson went to the Orange Bowl and gave up like 80 points to West Virginia. Ohio State, of course, just lost to Michigan State. Could have lost to Michigan. I don't like Ohio State's defense. The names are there, but I don't know if I love this Orange Bowl either. Saturday, January 4th, the Compass Bowl, Vanderbilt and Houston. Why do they do this? Why do they put the Compass Bowl on Saturday, January the 4th? Vanderbilt and Houston should be one of the first bowl matchups in the year. They should play that game 2 weeks from now, not after the New Year's Day games. The Compass Bowl, Saturday, January 4th, Vanderbilt, Houston. Come on, give me a break. And here we go again. Sunday, January 5th, the GoDaddy Bowl, Arkansas State, Ball State. Why is this game being played on January 5th? I mean, I don't understand the scheduling at all. Of course, Danica Patrick will be at the GoDaddy.com Bowl signing autographs if you're down there. Maybe you can get a Danica Patrick autograph. I mean, but this game should not be played on January 5th. And then, of course, Monday, January 6th, back at the Rose Bowl again. You have the national championship game, Florida State and Auburn. I think this is going to be a decent championship game. I think this matchup is better than Florida State and Ohio State, although I don't think this matchup is as good as Florida State and Alabama. But hey, Auburn beat Alabama, so this is what you're getting. I think this could potentially be a decent championship game. Most of the championship games are flat out awful. They're more hype than substance. Going to be very strange seeing Florida State and Auburn play in the Rose Bowl. That's going to be strange. I mean, usually you get like a West Coast team, out there in the Rose Bowl. Florida State and Auburn in the national title game in the Rose Bowl. Very strange to see two Southern schools playing in the Rose Bowl. So that should be a decent game, but overall, not many great games. I mean, how many did I mention? All right, Florida State, Auburn, you want to say that's a good game? Arkansas State, Ball State's not good. Vanderbilt, Houston, not good. Clemson, Ohio State, it's okay. Oklahoma State, Missouri, maybe. I mean, Oklahoma, Alabama, I don't love. Central Florida, Baylor, I don't love. Stanford, Michigan State, I guess is a good game. And then the rest of these games, I couldn't find one game that I really loved. I mean, Iowa, LSU, Wisconsin, South Carolina, UNLV, North Texas on New Year's Day. I mean, oh my goodness, there is so many bad matchups. I mean, I don't like most of these college matchups. Of course, I'm a fanatic, so I'm going to watch all of them. But I am not impressed with these bowl matchups. And I say this every year. I do not love the bowl matchups. Now, next year we will get the Final Four, so maybe things will improve. I think it will. That Final Four is going to be to die for. But this year we're going to have to suffer through a lot of bad bowl games. So anyway, you guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. I will be back with you guys on Monday. Remember, next few days, you got college basketball always on, you got NHL hockey, you got NBA basketball, you got some boxing over the weekend, you got Broner against Maidana. I believe that is on Showtime. You might want to check that out. So you have a lot to watch the next few days. Of course, you got Army-Navy on Saturday. You got your whole NFL slate starting on Thursday. You guys are all caught up. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the games. I will be back with you Monday to recap it all. Talk to you then. Take care.